This is Michael Popok, Legal AF, the new Legal AF MTN YouTube channel. Take a moment, free subscribe. It's a vote that counts, and help other people get here as well. We're building this network with our bare hands. Talk about bare hands and bare knuckled fighting. Why are FEMA workers being delayed in their jobs to provide aid and comfort to tens of thousands of Americans in the path of Hurricane Helene and Milton? Why are they being delayed? Why do they have to stand down because of threats from armed militia and people who are using guns and weapons to threaten FEMA workers? Why? Because we got a candidate for the presidency who runs around with his vice president, scaring the bejesus out of everybody and telling them that FEMA is the enemy, that FEMA are government contractors working for, the deep state, that they have no interest in mind, that they're working on helping illegal immigrants over Americans. And now that has delayed the actual work of FEMA with 1,200 workers, for instance, who are all they're doing is their civic duty, and lowly paid at that, in places like North Carolina. And they gotta confront or be confronted by a guy named William James Parsons, 44, of North Carolina, who's now been charged with a misdemeanor. I love the name of this misdemeanor in North Carolina: going armed to the terror of the public. Okay, kind of is what it sounds like. He had a handgun and a rifle. He sat outside of a relief center that was operating out of a convenience store or a grocery store in North Carolina and got arrested as a result. And he's not the only one. In Rutherford County, North Carolina, armed militia, okay? Talk about posse comitatus. Armed militia stopped relief workers from doing their job, to the point where the National Guard had to be called out. And every moment that a FEMA relief worker isn't delivering aid to a person in distress, to a person who's been impacted by one of these two hurricanes, is a minute too much. What upside down world have I entered? It's the one, and this is why people, when you think, I love these people, they say Donald Trump is the candidate of unity. He's a unity candidate. He's going to unify this country. He is? He's actually, in order to gain political points and for political sport, he's attacking FEMA, just like they attacked the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and Anthony Fauci during COVID. It's always, this is the dictator's playbook: jail the scientists, jail the people that are trying to help you, rely on me. This is right out of the dictator's playbook. This is Stalin. This is the guy with the funny little mustache in Germany. And now it's Donald Trump. And now that he's successfully scared the crap out of his followers and his cult followers to get a vote, now what? What are you going to do instead? There's no MAGA FEMA, right? There's no MEMA. They don't have a parallel. They have a shadow government. They have a shadow government in exile, ready to take the White House, handpicked by the Heritage Society and Leonard Leo. They've got their cabinet ready. They've got 5,000 employees that are going to descend on Washington. They got all that ready, but they don't have a backup parallel FEMA. They're not Donald Trump shows up with Billy Graham's son tossing paper towels at a crowd, brought a tractor trailer filled with food. That's not going to do it, Donald. And then you left. Then you and your circus left, and you left behind more in your wake than even that hurricane. And then FEMA's like, great, that was a great tambourine shaking event. He can't replace what the federal government can do. What the old adage used to be: the government is my enemy until I need a friend. And now Donald Trump has destroyed that adage. They're afraid of, they think the FEMA is the enemy. They've been brainwashed into believing that the people there to help them, other Americans helping them, there to help them, are the enemy. I mean, what do they think God's will is? God, if you want to believe in that gospel, is sending you FEMA to help you. And I don't think it's helping to have armed guards walking around, armed militia trying to interfere with unarmed FEMA workers, right? But this is where we're at. I mean, I'm glad that I can report that William James Parsons was picked up by the Sheriff's Department in North Carolina for an armed weapon and going around to the terror of the public. I got it. But the fundamental issue here is what's been created by Donald Trump. He comes into a town that's a battleground state, but also has a hurricane. He exploits it to his benefit, claiming that the government / Biden-Harris are incompetent and FEMA's incompetent, and then he ties it together and conflates it with the other BS that they're running on, which is that illegal immigrants are now getting FEMA money. Why? Because they have to fit it into some narrative in order to scare people, in order to get a vote. And then they interfere with the operations of the real FEMA, who are really trying to provide real help to real people and other Americans helping Americans, and then they noisily leave and go on to the next battleground state or next rally or next Newsmax or Fox News interview. And what do they leave behind? They leave behind people in need who are afraid and are being denied aid by armed militias. If this is the country you want, some people might be thinking, did I just walk into a movie review? Is Popok reviewing that movie from last year, Civil War? No, but. Is this a long lost episode of The Boys? No. This is what this is the apocalyptic hellscape that Donald Trump will create once he's in office. Don't let that happen. You know what to do. Vote. Vote blue up and down from president down to dog catcher on election day on November 5th or earlier if you can. And vote here for Legal AF MTN. Free subscribe. Help us get to 250,000 by the election. That's our goal. We're almost there. We're at almost 210,000. We're only 26 days old. That's because of you. I'm doing my part. I'm the chief curator at the intersection of law and politics right here with all the great content that you know and love. But you got to do your part. Help us build this network, this pro-democracy channel, in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, right here with our bare hands. Appreciate you being here. Until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, free subscribe. This is Michael. I'm going to change my middle name to free subscribe to Legal AF MTN. This is Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.